Hello everyone, it's Katie here from the Scrappy Sisters, and I'm up today with another layout using my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit, and it is the Cocoa Vanilla Studio Happiness collection. You've probably figured that out by now. It's pretty much the only only collection I'm using to scrap layouts this month. Now, I am using gesso, white gesso, not clear gesso, because I wanted to dull down this pattern paper for my background. It's old, this gesso, it is thick. I tried to spread it with a silicone paintbrush, thinking that that might be the way to go. It wasn't. It's too thick for that, so I pulled out my foam rollers. They're just cheapo, foam roller things, just to roller out that gesso and just to kind of, I was going for a subtle kind of washed out look to this paper. Now, I would have used acrylic paint. I don't have any white acrylic paint at the moment, and this does a similar job. I mean, obviously gesso is to prime your paper so you can do mixed media things on it. I wasn't doing that for this layout, but nonetheless it serves the same purpose, and I've got such a big tub of it that I really need to start using it up. So we'll see how we go. I suspect it's going to dry out before I get it finished, but that's okay. It's not a super expensive product. It's just a cheap gesso. It does the job for what I need. But anyway, by the by, that is what I did there. Now, I fussy cut all of these frames on the left-hand side. Well, actually, I used my trimmer to cut them. I didn't fussy cut them necessarily. And one of the pattern papers in the Happiness collection has frames. Now, the inside of the frames have a little phrase on them or word, which I can't remember what order my layouts are going in, but you do see me use some of those on another layout, the inside parts. But this one is just about the frames. We're going to see how we go. Now, that quick glimpse, this is just some single-sided paper. Oh, sorry, I'll just tell you. I'm just writing the date on the back of my layout so that I remember. I write the dates on the back of my photos when I put them in my albums. And then when I scrapbook them, I try to remember to write the date on the back of the paper that I'm using for my background, just so I don't have to look them up again later. Now, what was I saying? The paper that I'm using to map my photos in is just a single-sided pattern paper from a paper pad. It's actually a really old Amy Tangerine paper pad that I had that I'm just working through and using it as matting for my photos. So that's a good tip if you have single-sided papers that you don't necessarily like or you're not going to use in your scrapbooking. Hold on to them and use them either to create layouts on top of as sort of white cardstock, but also I usually use them to map my photos. And it works well. Now, I'm pretty much creating a bit of I was going to say an L shape, but it's a reverse L shape, a corner shape, using the frames. So I'm just sort of layering them up. These photos are just of Lincoln playing in a local playground. We went to a new playground just as lockdown. When was this photo taken? This was in September. So lockdown was starting to ease. I don't remember. We had so many lockdowns last year. It's hard to remember what was happening, but restrictions had definitely eased enough that we could go to playgrounds. So for a while there, the playgrounds were all closed as well, but they had eased enough that we could go to playgrounds. So we were venturing out and about. It's funny now when you say that, looking back at last year and thinking about how cautious we were about COVID, and now cases are very high in Melbourne at the moment. And actually in Australia, almost in general, the West has still been pretty good at keeping COVID out because they've shut their borders to everybody else. No one's sort of been able to get in or out of the West, really. That's Western Australia. When I say the West, the West of Australia, which is called Western Australia as our state. But everywhere else is actually seeing a marked increase in COVID. So anyway, look, who knows what 2022 will have in store for us. So it is what it is, really. Kind of just living life now and seeing where it takes us and being as careful as we can in the current climate. So you can see these frames. Now, I'm basically going to try and work through and stick them all down. I am using my ATG for all of this. I could have used wet glue, but to be honest, I'm almost out. One of the things I need to do is go through all of my drawers and find all of the wet glue that I don't love that I've got lying around to actually try and use it up, because this type of thing it would have been perfect for. When I say I don't love my wet glue, my marker of whether I like a wet glue or not is how well it allows me to stick or back cut files. So that's kind of how I measure my wet glue, and the one that I love at the moment the most is the Art Glitter Glue. I'm loving it and I can't wait to get more, but it's currently out of stock everywhere. It's coming back, but yeah, it's out of stock at the moment, so hoping it comes back soon. But I love the Art Glitter Glue and I find it works really well. So this layout again is going to be fairly minimally embellished. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, you can see on the left hand side of the layout here, my supplies for the Happiness collection from Cocoa Vanilla Studio is vastly dwindling. I have a lot of paper. I always had a lot of paper for this collection and not a heap of embellishments, but I have used a lot. So you will see me do a Killer Kit video and layout share at the end of the month. I'm actually doing these voiceovers in early January, the 8th of January, and I have finished all of my creating for the YouTube channel for January already, and so I could tell you if I killed this kit or not, but you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait and see how I did. Obviously you can see on the left hand side there by how little I have left that clearly I've done a good job. But as I said, I had a lot of papers, so come and tune in and see how many layouts I made and what I've got left at the end of the month. I'm looking forward to that, and choosing a new kit to play with, because this was fun. Probably not as fun for you guys, because I have basically only got layouts on my channel this month that use this collection, but you know, thankfully I share a channel with my sister and she uses other supplies, so there'll still be variety, which is good. You'll still see different things going up on the channel, but all of my videos this month basically are using this collection. But you know, I enjoy that. So pretty much I'm just sort of playing around, just getting these final couple of placements right, figuring out how I want my photos. I'm going to pop up this one here, which is of Lincoln smiling in the, I don't even know what you would call this, but you like sit in it and then it spins you around. He loved it. Thought it was hilarious. It made me sick just watching him do it. Can't imagine what it would have been like sitting in it, but he was having a grand old time. Yeah, so I'm just sticking these last few frames down. I probably could have edited some of this out for you so you didn't have to watch me just stick, but nonetheless, that's what I'm doing. So yeah, that's it. Then I add a few little embellishments. Not much though. This is a very basic layout. Very basic layout. And I guess it just shows you how, you know, you can mostly use pattern paper and you can get away with very little else. So I've got a few little stickers, some titles, and then I use the butterflies, which have been a running theme for these layouts, but I fussy cut those from a pattern paper too. So, you know, there's lots that you could do with this collection that didn't need a heap of embellishments, which I loved. So I'm just trimming off the excess. I did lose a little bit of that frame at the top there, so just kind of re-sticking that down, and then trimming off, as I said, the overhang, and then I'll come in with my embellishing to finish off. So I didn't use a heap of ATG to stick the frames down, which is fine, except when I'm trimming off the excess. It does mean I need to come in and just kind of stick the edges down so that they don't pull up. So I do have a title for this, but I actually decided to add, there was two, I guess, titles, I suppose, on the clear sticker sheet, and I actually do decide to add them to this layout, not so much as a title, just sort of more from an embellishment perspective, but you could definitely, I guess, take it that I've got 3 titles, but you can see there that by adding my titles, that was the only thing I had left on those sticker sheets, those clear sticker sheets, so I was determined to get them used. So you can see me there, I add fun moments and every day, and here's me going, woohoo, they're finished. But my actual title I add using the word die cuts. I can't remember what they're called now, title die cuts. And I add my happiness, these ones here. Yeah, my happiness as my title. I've still got a fair few left, so I had a little bit to play with, although, yeah, not a heap. But I add my happiness there, and I do pop that up on foam, which does take me a minute. which I don't edit out. You get to watch literally the whole of this layout from start to finish. I have sped it up, but not by a heap. It's only sped up. It's only double speed. So I don't actually know how long this video was, but you can then get a good indication of how long it takes me to make a layout. Now, I should say a good indication. However, that doesn't include fussy cutting all of the frames. I do a little bit of pre-thinking of my layouts first, in terms of kind of, I think this might go together. Sometimes I'll like literally lay things out and have a bit of a play before I turn the camera on. In this instance, I didn't do that. I just had a bit of an idea in my head. And so I threw a few things together onto the page, literally as in I just placed them on the page, almost like I was making a page kit, and then sort of put it to the side with my photos. So I knew that I wanted to do that. But yeah, otherwise I just sort of put it together. This one I did put together kind of on camera, ad hoc. But I did have an idea in my head of how it was going to come together. And it looks pretty much how I thought it would. So I'm just adding some tiny word strips just to the kind of thicker frame part of the frame. So I end up only adding 4 tiny word stickers. And then I do come in with some butterflies that I pop up on foam. And yeah, then we're done. This one's done. So as I said, this used my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit for the month. I will try and remember to link to my kind of kit share, although honestly it is just the happiness collection from Cocoa Vanilla Studio, so it's not like you see me putting together a kit. I'm really using a collection. I am more of a collection scrapper than a kit scrapper. I know that about myself. I definitely have learnt that in the last few years, that I prefer to scrap from a collection. And so, you know, it's nice knowing that in myself, because it does influence how I purchase things and how I scrap, and how I scrap from my stash, which actually really will help me when I'm going to purge my craft room, because I think there's quite a lot that I can get rid of. It's great product still, there's nothing wrong with it. I just know that I personally won't use it. So yeah, there's going to be a lot to do, I think, in the coming few months. But we are nearly finished. So everything of relevance will be linked in the description box down below. But to be honest, that's probably just our email address and Instagram. I try to put things on Instagram. I'm pretty hopeless. Jess is pretty good on Instagram. So you will see some inspiration. It just might not be all my layouts. But anyway, I hope you are well. I hope 2022 is treating you well so far, and that January is going well for those of you in the cooler climates. I hope you're enjoying winter. For us here in Australia, and so I'm actually filming this in early January. We have had an unbelievable amount of rain, which we knew was coming. They told us we would have a wet summer. We've had some hot days, which has been good. We've been in the pool a little bit, but it hasn't certainly been as hot as it might have, you know, usually in summer, but that's okay. Here's my close-ups. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.